vegan taco cupcakes. Yes, cupcakes. You see these. Oh my gosh, these look so bad. They were so delicious. Let's get into it so I can tell y'all exactly what I did. Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. So we are starting off by making our meat substitute. Now this is going to be a very similar meat substitute to the chili recipe. If you need that, it will be linked down in the description. So we're adding our ingredients to the bowl, which would be some avocado oil, some coconut aminos, nutritional yeast. We have some cumin, some smoked paprika, and a little bit of garlic powder. Now y'all, when I started mixing this, I realized that I actually needed a little bit more oil, so I did go ahead and add another tablespoon of that avocado oil. And I also realized, oh my gosh, these are taco bowls, so I had to add more taco seasoning. So I decided to go in with some chili powder and also some onion powder as well. Give that another stir, and then we're gonna go ahead and get the paste ready for our meat substitute, which today we will be using some tofu, which is what we normally use for crumbles or like ground beef substitute. So I'm basically taking a block of soy-free tofu and I'm using my hands to just crumble it into the paste. You want to go ahead and crumble, like I said, the full block. Once you have everything crumbled completely to your liking, you want to go ahead and stir this in. Now you want to make sure that this paste is completely covered with the tofu. You don't want to leave any white pieces of tofu because that indicates that it's no seasoning on the tofu. And we need this to be completely seasoned so it can mimic ground beef to the best of its ability. So just continue to stir it. If you need to break some chunks of the tofu down, you can use your fork or spoon or whatever you're using to stir it up. But just make sure that it's completely covered, and you want to make sure everything has this sauce on it. Next, we're going to go ahead and pop the tofu onto a baking sheet. Now, you want to separate it. You don't want to leave it all bunched up together because tofu does make water, and we want some of that water to dry out so that it can kind of get this crispy coating and then also be chewy on the inside. So go ahead and pop it in the oven on 400 until it's crispy, stirring occasionally. While that's baking, we're going to go ahead and start on some of our toppings. So I am using, as you can see, just a slice of red onion. Now, this is totally optional. If you don't like red onion, don't use red onion, baby. But me, I like red onion. And the twist to these taco cupcakes is that we will be using the same filling or topping that we used for our avocado egg rolls that we made the other day. That was the Cheesecake Factory copycat. So that included some red onion. So that is exactly what we will be chopping up, the red onion. Next, I'm going to take my plant-based wonton wrappers and go ahead and put them into the cupcake molds. Now, I do want to say that I did forget to oil the pan, but it was okay because I did go back and add avocado oil, as you will see in just a second. So you want to make sure you are placing your wonton wrappers into the cupcake pan centered to make sure that no edges are leaning, but the actual center is in the middle of the pan. By this time, our tofu should be nice and done. So you want to go ahead and add that to the center of the wonton. This spoon that I'm using is about 1 tablespoon. So you want to just put a tablespoon of the mixture. I mean, you can kind of just eye it because we are going to do 2 layers. So you don't want to do too much of this in one setting. Once that's done, we're gonna go ahead and add our Bio Life Just Like cheddar shreds. You can use whatever type of vegan cheese you like, but that has truly become my favorite, y'all. But you wanna just grab a handful of this and add it to the top of the meat. And I love onions so much. We're gonna add some of the red onion inside of the taco cupcakes. So again, this is completely optional. If you don't want to do this part, you can skip this step. Just don't put them in there at all. You can move on to the next step, which is going to be to add a little bit of avocado oil on the top. Now, my reasoning for doing this is because this cheese can kind of dry out because it doesn't have all of the oils that real cheese has. So I'm just going in with avocado oil and I'm putting just a little swirl across the top before we add the second layer of wonton wrappers. So again, we're gonna go ahead and lay our second wonton wrapper. Now, when you are laying this wonton wrapper, you don't want to lay it the exact same direction that you laid the bottom one, okay? So basically the opposite direction, kind of like a crisscross thing, but you don't want to lay it in the same way you did the other one because it's gonna defeat the purpose of the actual cupcake. Next, we're gonna go in with the second layer of our meat substitute, tofu, aka ground beef, whatever you want to call it, okay? But if you are doing 1 tablespoon, this should be exactly enough. I mean, you won't have not a crumb left. And then a second layer of that cheese as well. This time I'm not gonna add onion on top, but I am going to top it off again with some more of that avocado oil. And then go ahead and pop these into the oven until they are crispy on the edges. Next, we're gonna go ahead and cut up our cilantro, which will be some of the ingredients for the topping. So I'm just grabbing a handful of cilantro and I'm just chopping it up into some smaller pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and add that to a bowl to the side, and then I'm also going to cut up some sun-dried tomatoes. I'm not measuring the sun-dried tomatoes, but I think it was probably about a tablespoon, and I'm just gonna go ahead and chop those up as well. Once we have our cilantro and sun-dried tomatoes in a bowl, we are going to go ahead and dice up our avocado. Now, as you can see, I'm just basically putting slices in it so it can be like cubes. My avocado was a little bit too ripe, y'all, with the brown spots, but we're going to keep it moving because I have 2 of these that are probably exactly the same. Now, once you add that to a bowl, you want to squeeze half of a lime in there, and then you want to sprinkle it with some salt and give it a good mix. And mix it very well. Now, I do want to mention that when my wontons start getting crispy on the edges, I did go back and put some oil. I brushed them with some oil because I felt like it was a little too dry because I was supposed to oil the pan. But if you oil your pan, you definitely won't have that problem. But by this time, our cupcakes should be ready. So I am going to go ahead and line them up on a plate, and then I'm going to go ahead and top them with our avocado topping. Now, of course, you can use whatever type of toppings you like. You can use sour cream, which will probably be delicious, but I didn't have any. And then I also went in with some taco sauce, like some mild sauce. Oh my god, y'all, this recipe bust. It bust so bad. It was a 10 out of 10. Y'all must try this ASAP. But I do want to thank you guys for watching until the end of this video. Comment down below. Let me know if you're going to try this. Let me know if you think it's going to be good. Let me know your thoughts down below. But I will see you on the next video. Again, thank you so much for watching.